So you took your mum,
I took
up
Mum
to...
up to Yanninjong to be with Morris and the family, and Babs and Pop, and came back to Rangoon to do my music jobs that were available at that time. I did a New Year's Eve ball there
Yep.
as well, and I picked up quite a lot of work around there in music. And one day I went back to the Royal Gymkhana Club. That's where I was working.
Sounds
New
very
Year's Eve.
snobby.
It was bombed. It was no more there.
Oh. Job cancelled.
So that,
Not even a courtesy call.
not even. So, so I was unemployed at that time, and for a couple of days, 2 or 3 days, and then Saul, my brother, came back from the river boats. He was working the river boats there. He was a supercargo, they call them. He was in charge of all the cargo up the river and down to Rangoon. And he had just arrived to Rangoon, and I said, well then, what are you going to do? Shall we? It looks pretty bad because at that time, it was about the end of January by then, and they started letting out lunatics. And then the people from the jails the prisoners were let out. And I told him, I said, I think we'd better go. And he said, yes, I think we'd better head out. So the only way out was to go up towards Burma, central Burma, to Yanninjong because Morris was there, and then we'd congregate and go together. Because the sea lanes were closed off altogether. The Japanese U-boats were there. So there was no sea passage. We got a bus and we took our dog with us at that time, Nessie. Yeah.
What sort of dog did you have, Dad?
Terrier.
Little buggers.
That fox terrier.
Yeah. A good ratter.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Anyway, we got 2 more.
I'll take a break.
Yeah. Instinct.
Because you were travelling up to Mania. Was it Mania?
To Yanninjong, where Morris was. And as soon as we arrived there, Nessie rushed up to the room. We never knew, rushed up where Mum's bed was, sat down there and started howling.
Because your mum had just passed away.
Yeah.
And the timing was
She wasn't there at all.
Ah, she wasn't there.
But she went straight there.
Where your mum had been.
Would have been.
That's spooky, isn't it?
Yeah.
So your brother had been sending you telegrams in the time that you were travelling up from Rangoon.
Yeah, even when we were in Rangoon, he said, Mum is not well,
Ah.
so better come up. But we didn't want to go straight away because we had things like settle up the house and nothing to settle up. We just locked up and went. But
So the family home you just abandoned?
abandoned
What did you
everything,
take
whatever
with you?
was there.
Did you take anything with you?
Nothing, just our instruments and one clothes, just as clothes we were wearing.
So
You carry.
how much did you miss your mother by? How long before had she passed away?
I think it was one day before.
Ah.
Yeah,
So there was you, there was Saul, and there was Morris.
Morris. And
Where was Easy at this time?
Easy was in China. He was on the Burma Road supplying, taking armaments. A lot of people were doing it. He was driving trucks there full of armaments and
He's a
hardware.
gun runner.
Gun running for the Americans.
For the Americans.
Yeah, because they were supplying Chiang Kai-shek up there, who was in charge of he was battling the Japanese who had come into China.
Right.
Japanese were spreading their tentacles all over the place, and they were they had attacked China before, and they were advancing up towards China, and America thought there's only one way, supply them. That's why Rangoon was so important to the Japanese, because all the armaments came there, and they were trucked from there over northern Burma, past Maemyo, Lasho, and into Chungking and Kunming. That's northern China. And they, Chiang Kai-shek's headquarters, he was a general there, Generalissimo. He was a chop general. And he had his headquarters there in Chungking. And all the armaments would go there, and he would spread it out among the troops. And this was going on non-stop, 24 hours a day. And Easy was on the trucks there. But one day after we arrived, for some reason, Easy came straight to Yangon.
He had a feeling, maybe a sense that this is where you'd be.
There was, Mama said, I won't be with you, but you 4 boys will be going. You will get together and go to get away from Burma. You 4 boys.
She knew
But
it.
I won't be there.
How old was your mum when she died, Dad?
Jeez, I don't. About
She died old?
I don't know. I think it was. I know she used to, but wouldn't have, that wouldn't have loved. But she was very, very worried because war came and the bombings. She went in a very traumatic state, and I don't think she could take it. Her nerves and things, just gave up. Didn't. Going into the trenches and coming out, Mum, let's go back again. The siren sounded. It wasn't easy for her. All that, And then she realized that her family was all split up. Flo and Charles went on their own to India, somehow or the other, I think by ship. And then Seema and Abraham and Ike and Kelly and Saul and Benny all went by ship.
They'd gone quite a bit
Bit early, as soon as, I think just before the bombing, when the war was declared and they heard that the Japanese were coming over and things like that, so they got the ship out.
Sister Sally? Do you have a sister Sally?
Sister Sally had gone many years before to Israel.
Really?
Yeah, she was one of the very first people that went to Israel from the east.
Who did she marry?
Ezra Meyer,
Right.
lovely guy,
Yeah?
great guy he was. I remember him, and he was working with their family in Mum's brother's family in Mandalay. They had the ice factory and aerated water factory, blah blah, and Ezra Meyer was working for them. But then he decided that he wanted to go to Israel and settle down in a Jewish environment.
Yeah.
Which he did.
Yeah.
And we met his son.
Uh-huh.
Their son, their
Just
son.
one child?
No. There was Hanny Morris. Morris is a violinist and he was in England. I met him when he was in England.
Oh, okay, but not Morris.
Not Morris Isaacs.
Strange,
Morris Meyer.
strange coincidence. Oh, like Kelly was the violinist.
Kelly was the violinist, yeah. But changed his name to Morris.
Stop.
Anyway.
Must have gone with the territory.
Yeah.
Have a perfectly good name like Kelly and you go and change it to Morris. Did he think that he'd get mixed up as an Irishman?
Yeah, possibly. At that time there was a bit of problem. I think he did the right thing.
Let's close this door. You feeling cold?
It's a bit cool, yeah. Right. And then I met Morris in England when we went for Seema's 70th birthday, was
Yes.
it 70th? Or
80th.
80th. No, she had the 80th birthday. Anyway, it was a
Mum will
family,
remember.
yeah, family gathering. Yes, so Mum and I were there, and I think Andrew was there.
Yeah, I seem to remember.
I don't think you girls came along, no.
No, we had to stay and... No, how could you leave us by ourselves?
No, we never left you. Nana must have been
Grandma
there.
would have looked after us, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you had your schools or something, and Andrew was still young, so
Young enough to travel. I think we were a little jealous. That,
I think so.
life's like that.
Anyway, it was quite a gathering, but meeting so many people. Hayo was there. Hayo, you remember Hayo?
And Nissim?
Nissim? No, Nissim was married. Nissim was here.
So Hayo...
Hayo was Nissim's wife.
Oh yes, who is the mother of Kim
Kim,
Kunio, who
musician, yeah.
sings and plays esoteric Baghdadi music.
Yeah. Have you heard the music?
Yes, it's
very
beautiful.
good.
It's lovely. It's got a lovely voice.
Yeah.
That's quite a niche market.
On ABC, I heard it.
Oh really?
Oh yes, he backed some programs.
Oh,
He did
yeah.
some backing programs on more off subjects, like way out subjects.
He's it seems to be an area of interest to him, music of Iraq, Iran,
Yes, and things like that.
the area that the family has sort of
Yes.
has its roots in. And he did the music for the Islamic art exhibition
He
at
did.
the art gallery for the opening, and we went to one of the performances, and it was very beautiful.
Very good for him. I like it. Anyway, so that was a meeting that we had with Seema then. And yes, I met Morris, the violinist, and his German wife, who was kept him under the thumb. And, absolutely, she really was too much.
Did they live in Israel?
Huh?
Did he continue to live in Israel?
Morris, he was in Israel with Sally and Ezra.
Yes.
But he left when he played music and he did well. He went to England and settled there. He settled in England. But Hani was in Israel all the time. I think she died a little later, so a bit later in life. So Morris must be now about, if he's alive still, about 70. 70, 75.
Your nephew would be 70.
Huh?
Your nephew would be about 70 or 75.
Yeah, more.
No. Really?
Yeah, because he was about 5, 6 years younger than me.
Oh, okay then. Well, that makes him 80.
Jeez, you're right.
Doesn't time fly?
Yeah.
Fly. So,
Yeah, so
that
anyway,
we got to you
Yeah,
got
the
as
job.
far as many with your brothers, and then you all were there.
we all met there. And then we decided, well, there's no way out. We couldn't fly out. There was no planes available for us. And so we decided there were 2 or 3 passages to go through to India.
Yeah.
One was South India near Bangladesh, but that was crowded with people getting out from Burma. Mostly Indians were taking that route, and there was a lot of deaths there, and it wasn't managed well, the evacuation. Then the other one was where we took the Tamil Palal route, which was shorter, but it takes a longer time to get to it, and a shorter crossover with a better chance of getting out alive.
Yeah.
And then further up north, near Michina, that's northern Burma, over to Assam near the Himalayas, out that way. And that was very difficult too.
But how do you find out about these things?
Hearsay, people were talking about it. But that's the only way we could do it. And people were talking, discussing, you know that person, that person knows something about it, and then they give you an idea. So we took the one that was Tamupalel, which is closer to Yananjong. It was near central Burma. And we took it, and that was a long trip. I mean, it took us a month to get to India because we had to travel, walk by cart, up there to a river point, and then they say, don't go down this river from here because you won't get to this opposite side. You'll be drifting down the river and you go further down, goodness knows where. He says, so work your way up on this side of the river, go further up about 10 miles or 15 miles, and then take the crossing so that when you drift down, you come down towards where the point of return, the point of getting off.
Crossing on what, a raft?
A raft, there were rafts there was flat bottom, boat punt.
Yeah.
But the river was so heavy at that time.
Yeah.
It was very, very strong river.
It wasn't the rainy season, was it?
No, but it was enough, it was April. So that from the mountains, the snow had all started melting, so the rivers were frozen. There were rains, well, we had rains and
this whole trip?
altogether we left in early March, arrived in early April.
So what was the sleeping accommodation? Did you take a tent or bags?
No, we had no, we slept in the open. Sometimes when we got to the village, we had some cash with us and whatever was available, jewelry, we had used that. Somehow we managed to go to a village and give the headman some money or something and say, can we use your village hut or something, and they give us a hut to sleep. Sometimes we had to sleep in the open under trees.
Did they give you food?
No, we had to try and find some food, and we find rice. If there was rice, they had an opportunity to cook the rice and eat it. Some whatever vegetables we could get, we had to survive on. We were lucky when we got plantations. We got a little over there, and there were plantations, and the manager would cover a calendar and give us a meal. Sometimes they'd give us Scotch whiskey to drink because they were well stocked.
Yeah.
They were whiskey, we played music for them.
Oh, yeah. And the musical evenings.
Happy with that. And
sure.
We had food and drink.
So you had the initiative to go and make yourself known to the manager.
Yes, because they saw us carrying our instruments. They see my brother carrying a guitar in his case. And you're musicians, okay. And this is what we do. We give you some food, you can sleep on the veranda.
You can drink some good sterile Scotch whiskey instead of that river water.
Yeah.
Was there a lot of illness happening?
A lot of illness all around. And what we had to do was take Condy's fluid, the red one, and put that in our drinking water whenever we had to drink off the river.
So it's sort of like an antiseptic,
Antiseptic
is it?
it was. A lot of bodies floating around, dead. They threw them in the river. And these guys would float past. And we survived that, man. I mean, we were lucky.
Was there bombing happening at the time? Were you...
Not when we were on our way, because the fighting we were ahead of the Japanese, put it that way. We were ahead of the Japanese by about, I would say about a week or 10 days away from them in their travel. Yeah. So we were ahead, thank goodness for that. And when we passed through territory there in between Burma and India, there's a territory called Naga land. Naga, Naga. And these tribal people were, they're headhunters. Yeah, and not the business headhunter, but real headhunter. We used to go to them. They would show us the array of heads that they had in their villages.
Really? Oh, horrible.
Headhunter.
Yeah.
But they lived up the tree with short blowpipe, with a poison dart at the end. Just a blow, and then it would strike the guy, and within seconds he was dead. a little incident happened. We managed to make friends with them. And so much so that I played music for them and my brother played guitar and all that for them.
You played for your lives.
But they were nervous when I took my clarinet out.
Well,
And I put it in my mouth and they were getting ready to reciprocate because they saw me putting, but I said, and I played some music. And then they offered us food. And venison it was. And they said, eat. All right. And they cooked it and roasted it and gave us to eat. And we had the runs that night. Mm-hmm. It was that. Then we found out what happened. They were immune to the darts. Uh-huh. They killed the venison dart, right? And cooked up the meat. It's okay for them because they've been eating that all the time. That's the way they survive. But it affected us. And
the poison from the system.
The poison from them.
The venison was through.
We threw up. And,
I've wondered why venison is never featured on the family menus. Now I think I understand. A little bit of food poisoning like that can turn you off for life. So they were the Naga. Did you meet any Karen people?
Karens were on the east part. We knew them very well. They're wonderful people. Some of them came to our school, the children, when I was in Memyo, because that's closer to where the Karens were, the East Burma. But these are on the west coast, western Burma, in between India and Burma, the Nagas. They're ferocious people, I mean, they're loincloth only.
Very primitive by the sound.
Very primitive, very primitive.
And who are the sort of like the general populace of Burma? Who are the Burmans or Burmese? What are the ethnic?
Burmans are the people that located themselves in the center of Burma, right down, a lazy lot of people, very lazy. They are the Burmans, but the Burmese, which is general, you have the Karens and the Kachins near the Chin Hills, and then you have on the western side you have I forget who else, it'll come back to me, but if you look at the map, you see all the different type of people that are there. Some on the Chinese, because we bordered China as well.
Yeah.
Burma borders China, so you have the Chinese influence near the top there. I forget what type of people they are. The Hmong, I think the Hmongs are there. Hmong.
Are they the women who put the...
Long neck
giraffe ladies, yeah. So ethnically it's quite diverse.
Diverse.
The country is
in fact,
made up of lots of different ethnic groups.
Yeah, and the dialects are so different, and there's so many dialects there. They don't understand one another in places. And down south, near Mergui, Burma is a long strip there, like a tail, and that borders Thailand. So you get a Thai influence of those people there.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
It's a fascinating country.
And who rules?
Then the Shans.
The Shans up there. Who's ruling at the moment in Burma? Is it a particular ethnic group who's got the majority?
I don't know which group it is because I haven't. I've distanced myself from them. I feel sorry for them, but there's not much we can do. It's the generals, that self-appointed generals, they've taken over the whole situation of the country. The Shans were lovely people too, because they were very friendly with the British, and British made them sort of little governments. Each Shan state had their own ruler, but they all were under the British domain. And we had Shan boys in school as well. Yeah. Shan princes they call them.
Royalty.
And quite well to do.
Yeah. So tell me about when you got to India. Was there passport control, or you actually had a British passport, or what were you passing? What were you travelling on?
No, nothing.
Nothing. No documents.
No documents. We just went there as refugees. We were refugees. So we arrived there on Dimapur and on the border, and then we got, there were big trucks, army trucks, that took us to the railhead. And the railhead, from the railhead, we took a cattle train, cattle trains, and all the way down to Calcutta. So at Calcutta we arrived, and we never knew where the rest of the family was. But all the refugees seemed to be stopping at a place called Loreto Convent. The convents gave the help to everyone. So for one night we slept in the corridors of the convent, and next morning we said let's try and find something to stay, because we were professional musicians, and
you were willing to find a way.
Have a way to find some music and earn some money. And there were a lot of jobs going, because there was a couple of bombings in Calcutta, way out. Calcutta is very large. And way out in the suburbs, where they had transport and warehousing of trucks and things like that, army depots, the Japanese did bomb it. So once the bombs fell there, the Indians got scared and they left all the area, all their homes that they had, they would leave it. So a lot of houses were going cheap. Rental property.
Yes, yeah.
Some guys just said, yeah, you can stay there, I'll take the money for you.
You assume they're the landlord.
You assume it's the landlord, but he was putting in his pocket. But we're paying it, and lovely little places, and we found a place the next day. Saul, myself, and Morris and Babs, and we stayed there in our new premises. And Morris went around looking for a job and found a job at a Jewish B&L, Jewish business tobacco company, it was. And Morris got a job as a overseer, and he had accommodation in Dimapur somewhere, close by, and about 50 miles away, and he took Babs there. And Babs was very pregnant at that time.
Oh, she trekked out pregnant.
Yeah, she was pregnant.
Wow.
She walked away when she walked out of Burma. She had started being pregnant. So when she arrived there, she was almost ready to have a baby.
Wow.
Sandra.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's another story. And I had my instruments with me, and Saul had his guitar, and I went looking around, and I found someplace there was some music going on. I said, you need a sax player? Something. Yeah,